So what are the precautions that should be taken? Should the focus only be on the Saurashtra Kutch coast? Should people in Mumbai, other areas across the western coast of the country also be worried? How should one see this landfall that's going to take place of Cyclone Biparjoy? I'm joined by Professor Raghu Murtugude. He's a visiting professor, climate studies, IIT Bombay. Appreciate your joining us, Professor. The cyclone has been turned from extreme to very severe. What does that mean? Does that mean that the wind speeds will be a little less than were initially forecast? How worrying is the cyclone at the moment?
The background is that the Arabian Sea has basically been warming since January. It's a mixture of global warming and La Nina to El Nino transition. And Indian Ocean also gets heat from the Pacific and the Southern Ocean. So it's a very unique situation. So the Biparjoy, as it has gone from south towards the north, it has strengthened multiple times and weakened. So it keeps doing this. So now it's in the range of 150 kilometers per hour or so. The main thing to watch out for is whether there is enough warm water way close to the coast, in which case it may just stay there for a while and keep dumping a lot of rain instead of just traveling onto land and dissipating. So once it begins to touch land tomorrow morning to tomorrow afternoon, we have to really watch out how much energy it is going to suck up from the ocean. Plus, it is going to go up these Gulf of Kambat and Gulf of Kutch, where waters can get amplified, and it likes cyclones like water instead of land. On land, they don't get energy. So these are the pieces of forecast that we have to really look for.
You know, Professor, we've seen in the last couple of years, cyclones hit both the east and west coast with varying intensities. Cyclone Amphan caused a lot of damage in and around Bengal a couple of years ago. We had a cyclonic storm in Mumbai 2 years ago that was relatively less devastating. Your sense, are the cyclonic now conditions building up, as you mentioned, climate change increasingly over the Arabian Sea as much as they are over where it was traditionally cyclonic weather, which was the Bay of Bengal?
Yes, so Bay of Bengal used to be the dominant cyclone area in the North Indian Ocean. The Arabian Sea is now catching up. So not only is it getting more cyclones, but this late into the monsoon is already onset, and because of the unique situations of how Typhoon Mawar and Guchol played out in the Pacific and how that affected the monsoon onset, delayed it, and how the Arabian Sea has warmed up, and this is now the longest lasting cyclone in the Arabian Sea. So this is a confluence of what we would call natural variability and global warming, creating really a extremely dangerous combination. And this is going to now swing back to sending, Indian monsoon is now 50% below normal. Land has warmed up. So as soon as the cyclone dissipates, the southwesterly winds are going to pick up, and winds are going to blow in all the way from Kerala into Maharashtra and also into Tamil Nadu. So all these states are going to get extreme heavy rainfall from tomorrow into Friday.
No, that's an important point, because the cyclone is moving at the moment between the Saurashtra and Kutch coast on one side and the adjoining Pakistan coast. So between Mandvi in Gujarat and Karachi in Pakistan, and expected to reach near Jakhau port by tomorrow afternoon. Wind speeds at about 125 to 135 kmph. What I want to understand, if I'm living in Mumbai, if I'm traveling to Goa, if I'm along the Kerala coast, should I be worried that with those wind speed numbers that we are seeing in the epicenter, or will we only see heavy rain but not much devastation outside possibly the epicenter areas?
Yes, I think the cyclone will begin to move into Rajasthan and maybe veer towards Delhi or so in the next few days. But Mumbai down to Kochi and coast of Western Ghats, they will get heavy rain. The winds are not going to be as strong as the cyclonic winds, but they will be much stronger southwesterly winds that we get during the monsoon. So we are going to get heavy rain mostly.
And that's for the next 48 hours, is it? I mean, the rainfall prediction, the weather office is sounding an alert, is for Gujarat, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Daman, Diu, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagarjun Haveli. So effectively, are we saying that heavy rains over the next 48 hours, but as the cyclone makes a landfall, given that most people have been evacuated through the coastal areas, can we be safely saying that it will reduce intensity the further it goes in?
Yes, so the heavy rain over the Western Ghats from Kerala into Maharashtra will dissipate away in 48 hours, but as the pieces of cyclone continue to move north, Rajasthan and northwestern part of India will see rains also probably into 48 to 72 hours. So we have to really watch out how it breaks apart once it gets on land. So that's something we have to wait till another 24 hours to 48 hours.
One final question, Professor. There's been much talk this year that we are entering an El Nino season possibly, therefore we will have large dry spells. Is this unusual, therefore, to see cyclonic conditions developing as early as the middle of June, or El Nino and cyclonic conditions can coexist?
El Nino typically tends to reduce the number of cyclones over the Indian Ocean, but this story is complicated mainly because it's not just El Nino coming in the summer. We are transitioning from a La Nina winter of 22-23 into an El Nino. Such a transition gives us the maximum deficit in rainfall during the monsoon, which is about 15%. The IMD forecast, as you've seen, says we are going to basically have normal rainfall. So some compensation is happening from somewhere. My guess that it could be coming from Eurasian snow. Eurasia has been warm through the spring, and the snow has melted away, which favors the monsoon. Arabian Sea is warm, which favors the monsoon. Bay of Bengal is warm, which can pump in moisture. So I have to really see, I expect deficits. But the problem now really, Rajdeep, is that even though the monsoon may be below normal, extreme events are going to be really bad. So I expect that Gujarat and Pakistan, which are getting heavy rainfall these days anyway because of the Arabian Sea warming, are going to get soaked by the cyclone. The soils are going to be so wet that when heavy rains from the monsoon come, it's going to create floods again.
Okay, I think that is the troubling news that's coming in these kind of cyclonic conditions that have now become routine over the Arabian Sea. Even places like Goa are experiencing within a few days much higher rainfall than they would get in those short spells rather than over an extended monsoon over several months. But for now, Professor Muthukude, I appreciate your joining us and giving our viewers a sense of what one can expect come tomorrow. Stay safe, stay indoors is the message, at least for the next 24 to 48 hours if you're living in any of those coastal areas.